Hey guys, John Bergsman here with Fisherman's Digest at fun Pilgrims Village here in Cadillac, Michigan. Steve and Chris and the girls here at Pilgrims do a great job of having that early ice bite ready to go. They've all been project loading these shelves. We've got ice fishing equipment. We've got everything. Most importantly for you, we've got great reports coming your way along with a little ice fishing safety tip at the end of the show. Stay tuned here at Fisherman's Digest Hot Bites Fishing Report. So hey, first report of the day is actually an ice fishing report, and it comes from Mike Coziera up at Marquette Adventures Guide Service in the Marquette area. And Mike tells me that the early season ice fishing has started there up in Marquette. Now, they've got good safe ice on a lot of the smaller inland lakes. And not yet out on the big Lake Superior bays, but certainly on the inland lakes. And Mike tells me that they're catching tons of really nice northern pike, early season panfish, and some scattered walleye. Now, how are they doing it? They're catching just normal ice fishing tactics here. You're going to have little tiny jigging rods, similar that I'm surrounded by here at Pilgrims Village. They're all stocked up. You're going to have those jigging rods tipped with super light line. Now, light line teardrops with waxies are been really good for early season panfish in super shallow water. Remember, there's still a lot of laid down weeds, even some green weeds going to be out there yet. And if you can find those areas in the bays, you're going to find the panfish. Now, they're going to be really light biting, obviously. And one of the best ways to catch the northern pike, and in conjunction with the panfish, is to find little bays and coves that are next to long-reaching points that tumble off into some deeper water. Those are going to be the areas where you're going to want to set your tip-up spread, Mike tells us, on those points. Now, depending on what time of the day you fish, if you're an early riser and are going to get out there early, then go ahead and set a spread of tip-ups in the shallow water. I'd say 4 to 7 feet right now. Still pretty shallow. That's where most of the panfish are going to be to start the season. As the season thickens, they're of course going to keep creeping out and end up in those deeper holes in the lake. But early season, they're going to be pretty tight to the shore, 4 to 7 feet. So you're going to want to set your spread of tip-ups in that as well. Obviously, with tip-ups, Mike tells me setting a foot to 18 inches off the bottom with a good sinker to keep a sucker or a big shiner down. Also, if you're going to target walleyes, you might want to start with, a 3-inch or 3 or 4-inch shiner. If you're going to target perch or panfish, then you're going to want to, of course, go to the smaller crappie-sized minnows or perch minnow like a blue or a spot tail. So those are the tips right now coming from Mike. Give Mike Coziera a call up there at Marquette Adventures Guide Service. Throughout the whole season, Mike will be giving us updated fishing reports from the ice season up there in Marquette County. And get ready, because in February and early March, Mike's going to be talking to us specifically about catching whitefish and catching lake trout right out there in the bays and the Lake Superior shorelines that are touching Marquette County. It's some really exciting action. It's something you guys got to drive and take part in. Mike runs a great guide service up there, so thanks, Mike. Are you in the market for a new trailer? For all your trailer needs, big or small, visit Beck's Trailer SUPERstore on Highway 127 north of St. John's. So, we're talking about Port Clinton, Ohio, and I thought we'd be done with this Ohio water by this time of the year, but guess what? We're nowhere close to done. Water temperature, Mike Schmidt from Mike Schmidt Outdoors tells me, is at 39 degrees, and probably with this little cold slap over the weekend, maybe 38, but still lots of temperature left to drop before we get any kind of ice. And with the water movement on that area of Lake Erie, I'm not even going to be so sure we're going to get safe fishable ice. It might be a case of where we're just knocked off the water for a month or two with our boats. But hey, here's the fishing report. 31 to 32 foot of water north of the firing range. So right north of the firing range that's out in front of Davis Bessie, trolling to the east. Mike had a little southwest wind, so he was doing an eastern troll towards South Bass Island, catching lots of fish in 50 back. Now, chrome and blue was good, taco was good. Also, anything shiny. The day Mike fished, it was a sunny day. So, of course, you all know, you've heard me say it before, sunny days is chrome and blues or golds, shiny baits. And that was working great for him. 50 back seems to be a really dead nuts number right now in a lot of different places on the Great Lakes. That's going to put that bait about 15 foot down, catching those fish. Speed was still amazingly 1.4 to 1.6. Mike was humping along pretty good, and I think that had to do with the fact that it was a sunny day and the fish were pretty active. As this temperature drops, you might find that you'll have to slow that down to 1.3 and all the way down to 1.1 and 1.2 when we get into that 33 to 35 degree water temperature. But Port Clinton, Ohio is definitely not out of the game yet. I'm looking at the extended forecast, seeing a lot of upper 30s and low 40s down in that northern Ohio region. So if you're still looking to get out, Port Clinton, Ohio for the next couple weeks is still a viable fishery. So we're here with Lee from WavePro, and Lee, talk to me just for a second about the functionality. You know, I've had WavePro for 3 years on my boat now, and one of the things I love about it is the fact that it has no bottom end. It seems like the harder you hit a wave, you still never crash your spine on the bottom of that cycle.
Yeah, what we have is an air chamber there, and we're just compressing air to nothing, so the rising rate's just doubling, tripling, and that's why it doesn't bottom.
That's a very, very cool concept. I mean, you know, the other thing is, and the thing I noticed right away coming from a competitor's base, is there was always that sensation on the up that I was going to get almost thrown out of my seat where, yeah, it would cushion the down, but it would also kind of make me feel like I'm going to get thrown out of my seat. How is it that WavePro accomplishes not having that feeling? Because I don't have that feeling.
Yeah, we have a hydraulic chamber also. We dampen it with oil and some piston like a snowmobile is used, and we're slowing it on the rebound.
So really it's the same thing. It just continues to compress on the down to prevent a bottom, and on the rebound it's just constantly resisting until that rebound is gone.
Yeah, we're just slowing it down with the oil. It's a set how fast it's coming back with the oil passing through orifices and the down. Just think of a motocross bike. Them kids sit on the motocross bike, they sag half the suspension out. You know, but if they go over to jump, the wheels fall out. Same thing in a boat. We're hydraulically slowing you down, going down till the air picks you up, but we're stopping you with the air. That's what keeps you from bottoming. It's also a slowed compression too.
So it's a dual chamber system in there.
A dual chamber, yeah.
All right. Well, hey, I wanted that question answered for all of our you know, loyal followers, because I get a lot of comments. How does WavePro in such a tiny little footprint, you know, it's nothing bigger than what you'd come in your standard boat, you know, I mean, just the standard equipment that is the base and pedestal to your seat. It's that same footprint, but yet it accomplishes all of this stuff.
Yep.
Hey, I wanted you guys to know why the WavePro is such a superior piece of equipment. Check them out at waveproshock.com, and we'll see you again next week on Fisherman's Digest. So hey guys, we're going to jump just up around the corner into Michigan to Monroe in the Bowles Harbor Sterling State Park area. We've got Michael Downey with a guest report from Relentless Grind Guide Service. Now you all might know Michael as the sturgeon guy up on the river in St. Clair. He's got a great sturgeon guiding business. He also guides in the spring on the Detroit River, and of course all fall he guides on either Lake St. Clair or the Monroe area of Lake Erie. And he's got a great little guiding business going. If you're looking to get out yet this year, Michael Downey at Relentless Guide Service. Now he tells me, and as you see the pictures going on across your screen, some really nice fish. Limits are pretty easy when the weather and the wind are stable. So what's he doing? He's got a real specific system using deep diving bandits. He's going with custom colors matching the day. So again, bright chromes and golds on the sunny days. On the darker days, more of the whites with fluorescence on them, like chartreuse or pink or even green. Chartreuse belly seems to be doing good in the fall as well. speed 1.4 to 1.6, and his set has been 50 foot out on the Bandit and then snap weighting in another 15 feet, so a total of 65 out on the board, and the offshore board and sending it out. Now, you can also hear at this time of the year on those sunny days, throw a couple high ones out, maybe 35 to 50 on the Bandits, so shorter leads. I myself personally have fished this area a lot at this time of the year, and I can tell you that on sunny days there is a high fish bite. So don't run away from that either. Michael's catching those fish low. One of the tips Michael told me was that he was catching fish on the numbers, and what that means is that it wasn't just great big long fish crushing trolls. There was definitely pods of active fish, and then there was bunches of times where it was just marks, but those fish wouldn't bite. And then when you'd catch a fish or two, he would go ahead and wheel around. He wouldn't go forever past those. He'd pick up, run up and go through them again, or hopefully turn and be able, if the wind is such that you can turn and stay in the water, and go through them again, figure eighting and putting those numbers as the center of your figure eight. He's catching a lot of fish out of tight schools. In other words, tight groups of fish, not just massive schools for miles long where you're pillaging them, but actually working the numbers a little bit. So keep that in mind. Be quick to push your GPS when you do catch a decent fish or two, and then be remembering that, hey, if you go a while without a fish, you can continue to go and search for another pod, but if you already know where there's a pod of active fish, it's probably good to turn around and go through those numbers a couple, 2-3 times, seeing if you can grab a couple of fish at a time out of it. So again, 50 foot back with a 2-ounce snap weight, 15 and more for a total of 65 out of Monroe Sterling State Park right now. And guys, the long range forecast says we're probably not going to get too warm before the first of the year, so I think this fishery is going to be going for another good couple of weeks. Hey, are you in the market for a small outdoor shed, carport, or small storage building? Visit my friends up at Midwest Steel Carports. They'll travel anywhere in the Lower Peninsula to install your shed or carport for you. Visit them online at MidwestSteelCarports.com. So we're going to jump north right up. We're going to skip over Lake St. Clair right now this time and talk a little bit about Saginaw Bay. We've got another week or two, I think, of fishing on Saginaw Bay, which is unusual for this time of the year. She's starting to skim over normally, but hey, we've got some long-range temperatures even this coming weekend or next week. Today's Monday here at Pilgrims Village, but I'm looking at the long range seeing next week, Saturday and Sunday, temperatures again in that Saginaw area up in the low 40s. Well, guess what? You can fish in those kind of temperatures for sure. So Saginaw Bay, where's the bites? Well, I got two different reports. Captain Mark from Real Fishing tells me that he's been doing well on really nice sized walleyes on either side of the shipping channel, both the east and the west side, so really no specific side that's better than the other. Heading out in 17 to 23 feet of water has been his best. Basically deeper than 23, he starts to turn it back in and head to the 17. So the top of the roll on either side of the shipping channel, catching them on Bandits 35 to 85 back. So that's just putting staggered spreads. Let's say you got 2-3 guys total fishermen, you can set 8-9 rods. You're going to go ahead and set a couple out at 35, a couple at 45, a couple at 55, a couple at 65, 75, 85. Get a good spread out there. And then once a specific lure or a specific depth starts to go, really crowd stuff in. You know, I always like to leave the high bait out and I pull the two deep baits up to what's biting. Let's say I'm catching a lot of fish or getting pullbacks at 55. I'll probably be apt to pull that 85 one in and put another 55 out before I'd pull the 35 down to it, because those fish always tend to come up throughout the day, especially in the fall of the year. So if you're going to do some bait adjustment, take your deepest baits to match the ones that are firing. That's just a little tip from me. Speed for Mark has been 1.4 to 1.6, so I'm hearing and seeing a lot of guys who are maintaining that speed up a little bit. That 1.4 to 1.6 seems to be a number. December. I would have thought by now on the calendar we'd be at 1.2 to 1.4, but nope. We're at 1.4 to 1.6. Seems to give them just a little bit more coverage, a little bit more speed, gets you to cover a little bit more water. It's really helpful. And again, custom color bandits. Mark's a believer in these custom color bandits this time of year. They're a big bait, a big profile bait. Don't be afraid to throw P10s out there as well, guys. I catch most of my fish this time of the year on P10s, but all these reports are coming in with bandits. So hey, bandits is what we're going to tell you to go fish with. But again, I wouldn't be afraid to throw a P10 right next to it and see what goes on. So Saginaw Bay, we've got a good forecast coming. Try to get out there, try to get on the water. Again, Mark from Real Fishing. My buddy Nick Miato, who fishes a lot just as a weekend warrior, also gave me a hot tip that he's caught some fish this past weekend in that 24-foot north-south troll right out in front of Linwood Road. So he dumped his boat in right in that area, went out, found some marks in 24 feet. He was forced to do a north-south troll. He made a north-south troll, caught a nice bag of fish right in there too. So there's some fish on that Linwood Road shoreline as well, and thanks to Nick for giving us a little tip on that. Same basic set, somewhere between 50 and 100 back on Custom Bandits 1.4. Hey everybody, John Bergsman here from Fisherman's Digest. We're here today with Michael from Flo-Fast, and we're here to tell you about an awesome new fuel distribution system that Michael manufactures. Michael, talk to us about some of the finer points of this incredibly convenient piece of equipment.
You know, many boats today hold a lot of fuel, and like this wakeboarding boat back here, they burn through it quickly. You know, whether you have a cruiser, a pontoon boat, a ski boat, fishing boat, or a jet ski, Flo-Fast makes refueling them safe, it's easy to use, and you can pump up to 8 gallons per minute. So this 15-gallon tank here, you can literally empty in less than 2 minutes. A lot of people buy a system like this if your boat holds 30, 50, 70 gallons of fuel, and they buy additional containers. And it's nice to be able to split the weight up because it gets heavy when you get much beyond 15 gallons of fuel. You know, we make multiple container sizes. Right here is our 15, but we make a 7.5, which will weigh 50 pounds when it's full. A 10.5 will be 75 pounds when it's full. And then a 15, like I said, will weigh 100 pounds when it's full. You know, the cart is made out of solid steel. It has solid rubber tires, and it does break down and stores nicely into a vehicle or into a garage. The product is ultra durable. It's made to last. It's made here in the USA. And it's just a slick system to refuel boats and jet skis and whatnot. So whether it's the marine market, the power sports market, lawn and garden, farm and ag, it just makes refueling safe, fast, and it's easy to use.
Absolutely. The Flo-Fast system, it's going to be a fixture on our show, but one thing I've learned about it already in just a short time, Flo-Fast, it's quick, it's convenient, and it's environmentally conscientious. Check them out at flofast.com. So, believe it or not, we're still talking Traverse City perch fishing, and we've got Bob Hines from Central Coast persistently sending me awesome pictures of great perch fishing going on in the Traverse City region. Now, one of the biggest things I can tell you about what he's doing is he's using perch pounders. That's right, the White River Perch Pounder. I think we pretty much wore those guys out this year with how many people are using their products and catching them. He's catching them on the greens, the chartreuses, and the salmon/pinkish color. Catching them deep right off the bottom, tipping them with either shrimp or live minnows, and having just a great time this fall. Probably one of the best falls they've had as far as weather conditions you could get. I mean, since when do we talk about Traverse City on the bay perch fishing in mid-December? But here we are. Now, obviously this might be the last perch report I give you on Traverse City this year because, sure, at any point in time, a good cold spell could lock up some of the ice around the ramps and make it a little bit inaccessible. But it's been an awesome year. Perch pounders have been putting fish in the boat year-round. Again, it seems like everywhere I've gone and heard, it's been those three colors: chartreuse, the pink salmonish color, or the greenish color has been just lights out for Great Lakes perch this year, tipped with cut raw shrimp or minnows. So that's the bite. Seems to be in about 60 to 75 feet right now. But again, who knows how long it'll last. But here's the tip for you. Get a hold of Bob Hines at Central Coast Angling. Get on his calendar for ice out perching next spring. That's right, Bob is going to be on the water immediately after the ice leaves the bay and the ramps open up, sometime probably I'd say in early April. And that ice out perch fishing is as hot as it gets all year long. So give Bob a call. He books up quick. Bob Hines, Central Coast Angling. Get on that spring schedule and have some of the greatest perch action of the year up in the Traverse City region. So hey guys, we're here at Pilgrims Village in Cadillac, and Lake Mitchell and Cadillac are starting to skim up along the edges, which means we've got some ice forming. Now it's a good thing that we had open water with this big heavy snow band that just came through last weekend, so it didn't screw up the lakes with their ice. So all of that snow that landed melted into slush and is now going to turn into ice, so we're good with that. Now I want to just talk real quickly about ice safety. You know, we're all ready to get out on the ice. We're all pulling our hair out. You know, if you're not open water fishing anymore, you're just waiting for that early ice bite. And let me just tell you, as good as it is and as fun as it is, make sure you do your due diligence. Make sure you go early ice fishing with a partner. Make sure one of you has got a section of rope on you, or both of you. It's really important that you're carrying 30, 40, 50 foot of rope. You know, a guy goes through it can save your life. I always early icing for sure, wear a life jacket. It sounds crazy, but if you fall through, a life jacket will do the same thing as falling through out in the open water. It'll hold you above the water. You don't have a lot of energy to swim. I mean, once that cold takes hold, you go pretty stiff pretty quick. I'd say in less than 5 minutes. That life jacket could save you by giving you the ability to at least have the strength to get your arms up and get back and tie a loop in the rope and put it under your arm and have your buddy pull you back out. The other last tip is to really practice good spudding. And what I mean is have a handheld spud. Even if you're a power auger guy for drilling your holes, you got to go out there on early ice with a spud. You got to be able to tap in front of you and find out if the ice you're walking onto is safe. I mean, there's a lot of little methane bubble pockets in these lakes where you might be on 6 inches of ice and 100 yards over, there's only 3 inches of ice. So especially if you're an ATV or four-wheeler or snowmobile fishing guy, you really got to start off on foot until you are absolutely sure you got enough ice. Hey, just a few tips for me to keep all of our followers safe this ice fishing season. Practice good smartness for that first couple, 2-3 weeks of the season until you're darn sure that you're standing on 6 inches of ice or more and you're confident that you can move around safely. Hey, thanks for joining us on this week's fishing report. You know, we're hoping to get more ice fishing reports from the Upper Peninsula here the next time around. But again, this in the Lower Peninsula, especially the southern lower, we've just got these moderate temperatures that we're fighting, and it looks like open water trolling is going to go for another couple, 2-3 weeks. So stay tuned. Also, if you haven't noticed, we're on TV statewide right now in the Upper Peninsula, Sunday mornings at 8:30 a.m. on Marquette 6. Sunday mornings, 8:30 Marquette 6. In the northern lower and Sault Ste. Marie region, we're on Sunday mornings at 6 a.m. on Fox 32, covering the whole northern lower and Sault Ste. Marie. On the west side of the state, southwest Michigan, we're on WOTV. That's out of Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo. That's Saturday mornings at 7:30 in the morning. Great time to get up and have a cup of coffee and watch us catch fish. And starting in January, just a couple of weeks from now, we'll be airing in the Detroit market on My Detroit TV 20, My 20, right there out of Detroit, for the whole major southeast Michigan area. That's going to also be Sunday morning at 6 a.m. So set your DVRs. If some of those 6 a.m. time slots are a little early, hey, I get it. But you can set your DVR. We're going to be on 52 weeks of the year. We're never coming off the air again here at Fisherman's Digest, taking you throughout the state of Michigan on fun fishing adventures. Hey, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.